You are listening to Inspired Caring with Michelle Magner, episode number 139. Hello, welcome to Inspired Caring. I'm your host, Michelle Magner. If you are caring for an older family member, this is the podcast for you. Each week, I bring insight, tips, inspiration, and strategies to help you care for the people that you love without losing yourself along the way. Having cared for both of my grandmothers, I've helped manage everything from hospital stays, households full of belongings, to navigating senior living and end-of-life care. And I've worked in senior living as a result of that experience, serving my residents and their families as they've been on this journey too. Thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoy this episode of Inspired Caring. Well, hello. Hi. I am so happy to be back with you. I had a really sweet, magical holiday season. We had 3 sets of guests that came to our house to visit. And then right after my sister left in January, I went up to Canada to see my mom and her husband. And today I want to talk about time. I thought I had journaled about time sometime in the last 5 years, but I can't find my time rampage. So it's a little bit of a wing it today. On my way to Canada, my flight kept getting delayed. So I'm sitting at the Omaha airport, which is very lackluster. If you have not been to the Omaha airport, once you go through security, there's just not much happening. And I ultimately ended up leaving the secured area to go downstairs and talk to United to try and get the real scoop on what was going on. Ultimately, my husband dropped me off at 9 a.m. and by 6 p.m., we were still at the airport. And what was so interesting to me was that I felt fine. I went into this meditative state of some sort. And I didn't close my eyes in the airport and start meditating, but I don't know. Time to me that day felt like it wasn't as slow as it could have been. Do you have that experience where sometimes it feels like time is moving really fast? And then other times time is moving really, really slow. And I wasn't cranky and I was fine with it. And I was on the phone with my mom because the actual surgery he was having was that day. So I don't know. It felt like I was in a pretty good headspace for most of the day. And then once we got on the plane and I was headed to Chicago, I started crying. I felt really, really, really sad. And it wasn't because, it's not what it wasn't because. It was because I wasn't with my mom. It was because I realized my 3 core values had started to be triggered. And my 3 core values are integrity, faith, and connection. So when I got on the plane to Chicago and it just really hit me how sad I felt that I had not been with my mom all day long. That was the whole point of me going up to Canada was to be with her on the day of the surgery. And we couldn't get me up there the day before because of flight stuff. And then the day of, everything was delayed because of the weather. But I realized that I wasn't feeling the connection that I wanted to with someone that I love. And that was upsetting. My faith, I have faith in God. I believe everything is working out for me. I believe in God's divine timing. I just was feeling a little hopeless that I was ever going to make it to Canada because I had to spend the night in Chicago, which was unplanned. So my husband booked me at a hotel, which was great to have boots on the ground to help me. And integrity. Like I had said I would be there with her, and I was feeling out of alignment with my integrity. And so those were three just really important things to me. And I think just the exhaustion of the day of being in the airport and watching all the other planes coming and going just finally got to me. But I was thinking about someone who has the core value of time. And if that's a core value that you have identified for yourself, I think I would have in the airport been coming out of my skin a little bit more. I would have been much more agitated. Now, here's the thing. There was nothing anyone could do. Like there was nothing these gate attendants, people working for the airlines could do to change anything. So I think that was part of why I felt so calm and in such a space of gratitude for them, because they were managing and fielding, just hundreds of passengers who were displaced. So, but for someone whose core value is time, I think it just would have been a much, much harder day. And that would have been something to have a heightened awareness around for you. If time is a core value, what would you have done in those hours in the airport with the time that you had? Now, for me, I realized at the end of the day that I didn't write a podcast episode. I didn't write a chapter of a book. I didn't read any of a book. I started to kind of outline a little bit about this episode around time. But at the end of the day, I literally got nothing done. I didn't do anything. I didn't go anywhere, and I didn't get anything done. And I realized for me, with freeze, fight, or flight, I tend to freeze. It's an observation of myself. I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm not judging it. It's just something that I have observed, that I just tend to freeze. And this I have noticed if something really significant has been going on with a family member, like an emergency, a hospital stay, I can make decisions, but my energy, like all my brain power, goes into that one thing. Just like for me, it was the one thing of getting on that airplane to get to Canada. And I don't have a lot of bandwidth for anything else. So that's just been another interesting observation about myself. So just as you think about yourself and what's your relationship with time, how do you feel about time? I have a meditation that I purchased from Chopra and Oprah. They did these series of 21-day meditations that I really like. And within the app, I purchase it and it shows up in the Chopra app, but the title of it is Making Every Moment Matter, I think is the title of it, or I think it's Making Every Moment Matter. And it really unpacks relationships around time. And one of the suggestions that I have for you that I have done that I thought I could find, but I could not find, so I don't know what journal I have it in, is to just write the word time at the top of a page and write every thought and feeling that you have and anything that comes up for you that comes up around that word time. So it could be, for example, clock, timekeeper, stopwatch, not enough, always late, running late, scarcity, abundance, slow, fast, anything that comes into your head when you think about the word time. And just put it all down on the page so that you can go back and reflect and look and see, how do you feel about time? I mean, as I continue my studies with aging, time is marching on. It's marching across my face. It is happening, whether we like it or not. Time continues to go on. There's a biological aspect to aging. We have our chronological age. That's how many candles are on your birthday cake. And then we have a subjective age the age that we actually think we are on any given day. And there's more and more coming out about biological age, like cellularly, what is the age your body is saying that you are. And time is the commodity that we all share equally. Oprah, Michelle Obama, Brooke Castillo, you, me, my husband, my kids, we all have 24 hours in a day. That's it. Like, we all have the same amount of time. And what we're doing with that time, how we're using the time. And I don't even love the term using time, because to me, using it, it's like a scarcity feeling that comes up for me. Like, it's a commodity that we're going to run out of. I mean, time is infinite. Time is going to keep on going. Now, my time here is not infinite. So I do think about, what am I doing with my time? And I think it's just really important, as we are helping someone that we love, taking care of ourselves, having our own goals and dreams and ambitions. I have a lot of clients who are owners of companies, and they are looking at retiring, or they have retired. And so now they're looking at this new space with time. They have a new found time in their life because they are not working in an office anymore or for a company anymore. So just thinking about time for you, what is your relationship with time? What does it mean to you? How do you want to feel about time? How do you want to be engaging with time? I can tell you, by being in these support groups for family caregivers, at the end of the day, after someone dies, we just don't feel like we had enough time with them. I know personally, I feel really stung and ripped off by how much time I had with my mother and father-in-law. They both are gone at age 75. And in my world, age 75 is pretty young. It's like, it's not young, but it's certainly not old. If you think about a 75-year-old, there's still vitality and life and contribution at every age. At every age, there's potential for this. But at 75, I mean, to have both of them gone, I find really upsetting. So at the end of the day, it is not unusual for family care partners, caregivers, to say, I just wish we had more time. People who have been married for over 60 years desire more time with their beloved, more time with someone that they love. So just food for thought today around time, and checking in with yourself about, what is your relationship with time? How do you feel about it? How do you want to feel about it? And how do you want to be engaging with time? Where are there opportunities for you? We cannot look backwards. A lot of times people want to get in a time machine. That is not uncommon when people, instead of planning, they're just worrying, and then something happens and they would like to time travel back to an earlier era. That is not uncommon. People will say about moving into senior living, it's just not time. I'm just not ready. Well, how will you know? How will you know when it's time? Like, what are the markers that are going to be definitive for you to know when it is time? Because so often, like I said, people are just looking for that time machine. They can go back in time. And you know what? Music is a time machine. I mean, you put on certain songs and I am right back in that 79 hatchback, driving around as a teenager in Berkeley, California. Yeah. Music is a time machine. That's something that you can leverage with family members when you are interacting, especially for someone who is living with dementia. Music is so powerful. There's a whole program called Music in Memory. All right. Well, that is it for today. Just thinking about time. And I hope I gave you some good food for thought. And you are doing a great job. You're doing a great job. And I love you. Keep up the great work. What I know for sure is that things are going fine until they're not. Everyone wants to stay in their home for as long as possible. And then there's a fall or a hospital stay or clear signs of dementia or a diagnosis, and remaining at home becomes questionable or potentially impossible. It is super important that you are informed about what assisted living and nursing home care can offer and understand how to choose the one that will best fit the needs of your family. I know from personal and professional experience what objections are going to come up and how to navigate those conversations. You love your family member and you are doing a great job. It just feels like the situation is fragile. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop and you don't know what you don't know. Illuminating Senior Living answers all of your questions and walks you through step by step each common objection and frequently asked question. This course will save you so much time and heartache. Imagine knowing exactly when it's time to move and ensuring the care and safety of your family member. Imagine knowing what specifically to be looking for in a care community and how to have the conversations about moving. Illuminating Senior Living gives you the roadmap so you're prepared. Click the link in the show notes, Illuminating Senior Living, to secure your video course today.